Good morning, students. We'll continue with the 11th standard economics distribution analysis. In that next topic is that interest. Interest is a payment by the borrower. யார் காசு நம்மகிட்ட இருந்து வாங்கியிருக்காங்களோ by the borrower to the lender. Lender in the sense நம்மளுக்கு யார் காசு கொடுத்துருக்காங்க. For them, whatever the money we bought it, for that money we are paying the interest. That is called the interest. According to the Alfred Marshall, the interest paid for the use of a capital, the money what we are borrowed from the other, we use it, and the money use பண்ணதுனால நம்ம interest கொடுக்குறோம். அதுதான் Marshall was defined as. So you can see that whatever the money and also the material, man-made things, if you are using also, for that you can pay the interest. The money if you are use also, the reward is that interest. There are two kinds of interest: gross interest, net interest. Gross interest in the sense the total interest received by the creditor. That means you can give the example of a bank. A bank, if you give the loan to the person or customers, means bank will receive the interest. That's what the gross interest, the total interest of money received by the creditor from the debitor. Inga creditors from the debitor received by the creditor of a bank, from the debitors na people, the customer who borrow the loan. For that, they are according to the gross interest formula they given. A gross interest is equal to net interest plus reward insurance against non. So the capital amount, the money what we are using, you are getting as a loan or a borrowing, கடனா வாங்கியிருந்தனா அதுக்கு நீ பே பண்ணுற இன்ட்ரெஸ்ட், அதுக்கு நீ வந்து மந்த்லி பே பண்ணுற இன்ட்ரெஸ்ட் or yearly according to your bond what you are paying, that is called as an interest. Next we'll go for the net interest. Net interest means the part of a gross interest. It is paid for use of a capital only. But the capital if you are using means you are paying, we can say the mission, capital of mission, man-made mission, if anything is there, if you are using that one, for that you can pay. The one more also we can say the example of interest of a payable government securities, if you are using you can pay, if you are not using means we cannot pay it. In that, interest theory can be categorized into four. First one, absistence theory, AGO theory, loanable fund theory, liquidity preference theory. So these are the four theories. First we'll go for the absistence theory. See, according to this theory was introduced by N.W. Senior. According to him, it is a reward for this what the absistence. Absistence means a sacrifice. Absistence means sacrifice. If you are doing sacrifice means for the present. For example, Diwaliku, if you want to buy a dress means, crackers means, you sacrifice that and save it. Because of your sacrificing, you are suffering. For that suffering, the reward is that interest. The reward, the suffering, what you are doing, you suffered and saved the money. Okay, for that suffering, the reward is that the interest. So according to that, interest is a reward paid to the saver. Saver nu yaar sethu vikkranga. Why means he was suffering absistence. Absistence nave sacrifice in mean. So for that, Marshall has redefined this absistence theory. In the absistence ku badila, he was telling a waiting. Instead of absistence, he was using the waiting, the word use pandra. So after saving all your amount, suddenly next day only we cannot get the any interest. You have to wait for 1 month, 3 months or 1 year, then only interest will come. So according to him, waiting only will give the interest. We have to pay them for some reward for if you are waiting. So interest is a reward paid to the saver for waiting, according to Marshall. For this criticism, the saving involves suffering. You are saving your present happiness, you are sacrificing and saving the money. For that only you are paying. But this is not applicable for all. Rich people are there means பணக்காரங்களுக்கு already they have more money. அதில் என்ன suffering இருக்க போகுது? So they have excess amount only, they will save and keep. They won't suffer or sacrifice anything. In that hoarding ஒரு வேர்டு இருக்கு, HOARD, hoardingனா பதுக்கி வச்சிருக்க அமௌண்ட், அதுதான் அவங்க சேவ் பண்ணுற அமௌண்ட். ஸோ திஸ் in that only they will take a pinch, அதுலேருந்து கொஞ்சம் தான் liquidity means they will keep day to day activity, they will keep the money in their hand, that is not a liquidity. So this is not applicable for the rich people. That was a criticism. Next we'll go for the agio theory interest or psychological theory of interest or time preference theory. One word let me ask. So this was given by the John Ray in the 1834. Afterwards it was revised and finally economist Irving Fisher modified and gave it as a time preference theory. So according to this theory, people prefer present goods rather than the future. இருக்கிறது இப்போதைக்கு whatever the present situation, use it. Why are worrying for the future? That's what they wanted to tell. Because the present goods are more certain than the future goods. That's what the proverb they're using. A bird in the hand is worth more than two in the bush. கையில் இருக்கிறத வச்சு யூஸ் பண்ணாத, புஷ்ஷில் இருக்கிறது போய் why you are using, why you are think about that. Whatever in your hand, use it. Why you are thinking about the future? According to the economics they are telling. So when a people save to postpone their present enjoyment, whatever the enjoyment today is there, they postpone it, they save, sacrifice, suffer and save it for a future. Future what will happen? He may live or he may die, nobody knows. So age or a premium he has to pay. Premium மாதம் வந்து 1000 rupees சேவ் பண்ணி வச்சாதான் he will get the interest. So you have to suffer to pay that premium. So what is saying, it is a risk increases. In this present world anything can be happen, it is uncertain. So agio theory of interest says. Next, loanable fund theory. It is also called a neoclassical theory. This was developed by Swedish economists called as a Wicksell, Berlin, Olin, Wiener, Gunnar and the Myrdal and others. So according they dividing this into three categories: demand for investment, demand for consumption, demand for hoarding. So according to the demand for investment means bulk of a demand loanable comes from the business. So if you are having a bulk order, பெரிய நிறைய order வந்துச்சுன்னா what you will do, you have to get the loan or borrow money from some other, because you have to purchase the raw material or a machine, you have to purchase it. Next is that demand for a consumption. So you borrow that money, you will keep that money means what is the use? So you have to spend that money for the purpose, what you are, why you are taking that money, for that purpose you have to spend it. That is called as a consumption. Consumption தான் spending, செலவு பண்ணணும் அப்படின்றாங்க. Next, demand for hoarding. Hoardingனா பதுக்கி வைக்கிறதுன்னு அர்த்தம். So here it comes from the hoarding demand, hoarding money from the rises. So the people who are keeping their money, hiding and keeping the money, padiki vechirukra money, they will take out, because people will prefer for a liquidity. Ideal cash balance is based on the demand. CI means consumption, investment, hoarding. That means if a interest rate is increases na, liquidity preference will decreases. அப்படின்னா interest rate வந்து அதிகமானா எல்லாரும் என்ன பண்ணுவாங்க, they will keep their money in the bank because the interest rate is come. அது liquidity, day to day activityக்கு காசு கையில் வச்சிருக்கணும் currently. அப்போ அந்த currently வச்சதை waste will put in the bank, na will get interest and they will go and put in the bank. So that's what the liquidity preference depend upon the rate of interest. The interest increase na liquidity it decreases. Interest கம்மி ஆச்சுன்னா அங்கே வச்சிருந்த வேஸ்ட் கொஞ்சம் தான் இன்ட்ரெஸ்ட் வருது, will take the money in, they will take there in the hand. அப்போ hide money will come into expenses for the consumption or for the investment it will come. Next, supply of a loanable fund. Loanable divided it, demand loanable fund, supply of loanable fund. The supply of loanable fund first will go for the savings. Savings categorized into two types. First one, already we planned, we have to pay for LIC premium, EMI payment, easy monthly installment, that one we have to pay abdine, we'll keep already, plan and keep it. Second one is unplanned. Any expenses will come suddenly, or postpone whatever it is already we did not pay, that will have to pay suddenly, that will come. Next is a bank credit. Bank credit means the commercial bank will give the credit facility to the investors. Investor means business owners. Dishoarding, DH, means bringing the hoarded money, whatever the money they are hiding and keeping, that money will come into existence. So in India after 1991, public sector was sold to private sectors. This is also called a disinvestment. Public sector க்கு நம்ம ஸ்டார்ட் பண்றது பதிலா அந்த public sector நம்ம வந்து we have sold, so we are doing disinvestment, that also can be done. Next is disinvestment, is the opposite of investment. We want to start the business, now we'll invest, so this is the opposite of that one, disinvestment. That means we are not providing sufficient fund to run that business, or sufficient fund for the depreciation of equipment or that mission, we can say. Next we'll go for the diagram, that equilibrium in the sense equally, where the loanable fund supply and the demand will meet, that's what they wanted. See here, supply of a demand, supply of a loanable is equal to saving plus bank credit plus dishoarding, disinvestment, that's what they given in the S plus BC, bank credit, DH dishoarding plus DI disinvestment, all this together. Demand for loanable fund, supply க்கு அது demand க்கு I plus C plus H, investment plus consumption plus hoarding. This can be explained using the diagram. Here the x axis demand and supply, y axis rate of interest. LS curve it is there, no, that curve is a total supply. Loanable fund, according to the loanable at the LS, loanable fund supply. This is obtained from the savings. Loanable fund when supply, when it will come as supply means when you are saving, that is a saving curve S. Bank credit na BC curve, dishoarding na DH curve, disinvestment na DI. The loanable demand curve represent total demand of a fund. See here, according to years, a hoarding curve is a H is a hoarding curve. Here LD and LS, to loanable demand curve and loanable supply curve, both will intersect meet பண்ற place, that place is called a E. You can see in the middle E, green color E they were written, no, that is E in the middle. Green color curve, it is sloping line, there you can see the E line, that is a equilibrium point. Both demand and supply will meet that. According to the demand you are doing the supply, that is the meaning. So that is a place where OR rate, கீழே இருக்க பார் OR, and the OM, using this fund only your equilibrium point is. For this criticism is there. First criticism they given is the, this is not applicable because there are many factors missing here. Symmetric information, moral hazards are in. Actually see the practically means many politicians using their power, they will get a huge bank credit. India it has happened, many has took the huge capital as a loan with the less interest, many business person. When you, that was NPA, that is non-performance asset, a small firms the small less deposit hold who are there, no? For them high interest they are giving a loan, that also happens. So the loanable fund theory is indeterminate unless the income is already. இப்போ லோன் வாங்கினோன்னா நம்மளுக்கு இந்த அளவுக்கு நம்மளுக்கு ப்ராஃபிட் வரும் அப்படின்னு நினச்சா தான் லோன் வாங்க முடியும். இஃப் இட்ஸ் ப்ராஃபிட் இஸ் நாட் கம்மிங் மீன்ஸ் வில் பிகம் அ லாஸ். அப்போ தென் யூ கேன் நாட் பே இட் அஸ் அ லோன் and you cannot pay it as a interest. So your burden will be increased. That's why the loanable fund theory is indeterminate. We cannot determine unless the profit or income already you know. Profit already உனக்கு தெரிஞ்சா மட்டும்தான் you have to take the loanable fund. So next we'll go for the Keynes liquidity preference theory of interest or monetary theory of interest in the next class.